Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton News Daily. Sean Dyche has given his pre-match press conference ahead of Everton's game against Fulham at Goodison Park on Saturday. The manager was in his normal good spirits, making it easy for journalists. Not. He was asked about Everton captain Seamus Coleman, who obviously came off early in Everton's 2-0 defeat against Manchester United last weekend with a hamstring injury. This is what the manager had to say as update on the captain.
Yeah, he's got a niggly hamstring, which he'll need a bit of time to settle down, I think. And he's been in fine form, so obviously that's another awkward one for us. But it shouldn't be too long, but he won't make it for the weekend.
So the manager confirming Coleman is out, certainly this week. Let's hope it's not for too long. He was asked about Nathan Patterson, who's back in training. He didn't give an affirmative answer really as to whether Nathan Patterson would replace Seamus in the side at the weekend. He said we'll see. He's in contention. I think someone asked him about Ben Godfrey. I think it was Vinny asked him about playing Ben Godfrey at right back, but Patterson is in the run to start instead of Coleman, who was missing. A bit of good news for Everton. Dominic CalvertLewin is back in training. The manager was asked how that's going and would he be considered for Saturday, and also asked about the pressure being placed on Calvert-Lewin's shoulders. Obviously Everton have needed someone to put the ball in the net regularly all season. Calvert-Lewin hasn't been available anywhere near enough, and therefore has that cranked the pressure up on him. This is what Sean Dyche had to say on the subject.
Isn't it?
There's no pressure from me.
There is from the outside though.
It's relative, that's football. If you want to be a big player, you're going to take what comes your way. These big players play for England, score goals, had fantastic seasons here at times, so that's what comes. That's part of being a professional footballer. Everyone should want that, really, because if usually you're under some kind of whatever kind of pressure it is, then it's for a reason. That's usually a top player. I remember seasons ago, probably not every season, but certain seasons when Harry Kane was questioned, he ends up in the top scorers virtually every year, so he deals with it. It's a way of dealing with it. You find your way of dealing with it, both as an individual, guidance from the staff, his teammates around him, but he's not the only one here. There's other players under pressure. What about the players who haven't got them records, the ones who are trying to get their way into the game, to try and forge their way forwards into the game and be them people who get the noise and the pressure? That's all part of it.
So we'll see. It looks as though Dom may well be available at the weekend, which is good news. We need as much much opportunity to score goals as possible and someone to take them. So good news that he's back in. Throughout the press conferences, Dyche battered questions away, but he was asked an interesting one about Isaac Price. We've mentioned them a couple of times on the News Daily shows this week. It looks as though he is about to join Standard Liège, and this is what the manager had to say on the Price situation.
Well, I don't know the history of it, obviously. Coming in, I think there's a fair view of the young players here. You've seen Simsy play games, and the like, so there's a fair view of them. A couple of the younger lads have been overtraining with us, the really young lads, a couple of the under-18s as well. So, I certainly believe in that and the pathway for young players. Takes different parties now. They've got to see it the same way. Some young players and their advisors don't see it the same way. That's just part of football life.
Yeah, looks as though Isaac will leave the club. Bit disappointing. He is obviously highly rated, but if he's made that decision, he's made it. And finally, Dele Alli, who's been in the news a couple of times this week himself, was asked about him, Sean Dyche. I mean, he's been asked other times after the game at the weekend because of what had gone on, but he's been asked about Dele today, and this was his answer on that subject.
Well, he's not here, obviously. He's got an injury, which will keep him out for some time, so that needs to be dealt with. Some of the stuff that's been reported, he's 26. He knows, like most footballers, they know certain things they should be doing, shouldn't be doing. But at the end of the day, as a manager, forgetting about Everton Football Club, as a manager, you can't control everything they do in their lives. It seems to be this myth when they say, "What's the manager doing?" You go, "What about what? Following them around every minute of every day that they live their lives." You can only guide people with what you think is good for them, and eventually players have choices. So we recommend they make good choices, of course. But behind that, he's factually injured. He's come back with a proper injury that's going to take some time to get sorted out. So he'll use that period wisely, I hope.
Everton are reportedly interested in signing Arsenal striker Florian Balogun. The striker has admitted he may want to leave the Emirates this summer. He hasn't really had that much of a chance under Mikel Arteta. He's been on loan this season at Reims in France. He has scored 18 goals in 29 games and got 2 assists. The striker obviously having a taste of first team action and playing regularly, wants that to carry on. Probably doesn't see a future for himself at Arsenal. That's what's been coming out of that of late. Everton have been linked heavily with him today for a fee of around £30 million. Looks a bit much, but he's obviously 21 years of age. He's a talented striker. Everton would have to survive in the Premier League, I imagine, to be able to afford those kind of figures, but an interesting on that one, because he does look like he has got he's certainly got something, knows where the net is, and has done that this season. The Premier League of today made a decision to withdraw gambling sponsorships from the front of matchday shirts from the 25-26 season. Obviously, Everton are sponsored by Stake. 8 of the current Premier League clubs are sponsored by gambling companies. So obviously, the Premier League has brought this in with the fact that people have signed contracts with these companies and it's not easy to get out of. So they've been given a couple of years to end those agreements, and it becomes the first UK top flight league in any sport to ban front of shirt sponsorship from gambling companies. So we'll see. I think Everton will want to move away from that anyway, but they're going to have to now. So there you go. And James Rodriguez is a free agent, and surprise, surprise, has been linked with a move back to Goodison Park today, along with another, a number of clubs. Obviously, James had enjoyed one season at Goodison. He played 26 times for Everton and scored 6 goals under Carlo Ancelotti. He has been asked on various occasions since leaving Everton if he'd like to come back, and he has said yes. I don't see Everton going back for him. I think his wages were too much. If he wants to come back on a pay-as-you-play or something, then who knows? Doesn't strike me as a Sean Dyche type player, I will say that. But God, we could do with his creativity and those goals from midfield, couldn't we? But he is a free agent after his contract was terminated at Olympiacos. So watch this space, or maybe not. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to become a Premier member, the link is in the description. The QR code will be on the screen in a couple of seconds. See you later.